The Trial of Fire. The twin sons of Deloni rose slowly over the ruined city. Buildings stood broken like bones. Smoke still rose from distant fires. The war had ended only weeks ago, but peace had not returned. In the center of the city, an old arena had been rebuilt, not for games but for judgment. Thousands of Velari stood packed into the seats, their faces cold and silent. They were there to witness punishment. In the middle of the arena stood a young alien girl, her hands chained, her purple skin bruised. Her name was Lyra, and today, her people would decide if she lived or died. She stood tall, even though her legs shook. The Velari were a proud warrior race. Weakness was not allowed, and showing mercy in battle? That was worse than weakness, it was betrayal. The High Counselor of Justice stepped forward. His armor was black and sharp like a blade. His voice echoed through the arena. Lyra of House Corvell, you stand accused of treason against the Velari. People, you gave aid to the enemy. You spared human lives. Do you deny it? Lyra lifted her chin. Her voice was steady, but soft. I do not deny it, but I will speak the truth. Gasps ran through the crowd. The High Counselor narrowed his eyes. Then speak, before judgment is passed. Lyra took a breath. Her voice rose, clear and strong. I was ordered to destroy the human outpost in Sector 9. But when we arrived, there were only civilians, children, the wounded. They posed no threat. I refused to kill them. A roar of anger burst from the crowd. One warrior shouted, "Lies!" Another yelled, "She betrayed us," but Lyra didn't flinch. She looked into the crowd not for approval, but for one face. And she saw him, Corporal Adam Reyes, a human soldier, stood in the upper levels of the arena. He wore no armor, only his standard gray uniform. He wasn't supposed to be there. No humans were. But Adam had come anyway, hidden among the crowd. His eyes met Lyra's. He remembered her. It had happened during the last weeks of the war. Adam's unit had been ambushed. He'd been wounded, trapped under rubble, bleeding out. He had accepted death until he saw her. An alien girl, alone, fighting her own side to drag him to safety. She didn't speak. She didn't ask. She just saved him. He never forgot her eyes. Sharp and full of fire. In the arena, the counselor raised his hand and the crowd went silent again. And after you spared them? He asked. Lyra nodded. I was attacked by my own commander. He said I was a disgrace. I defended myself. I ran. I did not return until the war was over. The counselor turned to the people. And yet, this girl asks for mercy, he said. For weakness, for betrayal. She helped our enemies. She is no longer Velari. The crowd erupted again. Cheers. For punishment, cries for blood. Adam's fists clenched. He could feel his heart racing. His orders were clear. Do not interfere. This was Velari business, but it didn't feel right. He whispered to himself, this is wrong. Back in the arena, Lyra's chains were pulled. Guards dragged her forward. A stone platform stood ready. The execution blade rested beside it, its metal stained from past trials. She was pushed to her knees. Judgment is death, the counselor declared. Execution at dawn. The crowd roared its approval, but Lyra only bowed her head. No tears. No cries. She knew this would happen. And she was ready. Later that night, the arena emptied. Only guards remained. Adam stood in the shadowed alley, eyes fixed on the prison tower beside the arena. He knew what he had to do, but he also knew the cost. Interfering in Velari justice could spark conflict. His command would court-martial him. He might lose everything, his rank, his future. Still, he remembered the way Lyra had looked at him. Not with fear, not begging for help, but with trust. She had no reason to trust a human. And yet she did. That meant something. It had to. Inside the prison cell, Lyra sat alone. She stared through the bars at the twin moons above. She wasn't afraid to die, but she hated being alone. All her life, she believed in honor, in protecting the weak. Her people used to believe that too. Now, they just wanted blood. She closed her eyes. She thought of the humans she saved, the child she carried through fire, the wounded soldier she dragged from the ruins. Maybe that was enough. Maybe dying with a clean soul was better than living with a bloody one. A soft noise broke the silence. Footsteps, slow and careful. She opened her eyes. A shadow stood outside her cell. Then, a human voice. "Hey," Adam whispered. "It's me." Lyra blinked in disbelief. Why are you here?" He looked around quickly, then stepped closer. "I came to see if you're still alive, and if you're still you." Lyra gave a small smile. "I am, for now." Adam's voice lowered. "I remember what you did. You saved me." "You didn't have to, but you did." She nodded. "Because it was right." Adam looked into her eyes. "Then I'm not going to let them kill you." The orders and the silence. The morning came fast. Cold winds blew through the broken city, carrying the sound of hammers and engines. The war had ended, but the pain remained. Like ash in the air. Inside a human military base, Corporal Adam Reyes sat alone in the mess hall. He stared at his untouched food. The eggs were cold. His mind wasn't on breakfast. It was on Lyra, across the table. Sergeant Donahue, his team leader, dropped a heavy data pad. "You hear the news?" Donahue asked. Adam didn't look up. "What news?" "That Valari girl? The one on trial? She's getting the blade today. Sunrise. They don't waste time." Adam stayed silent. Donahue leaned closer. "Good riddance, if you ask me. Their problem, not ours." Adam's jaw tightened. "She saved my life," he said quietly. Donahue paused, then gave a short laugh. "She's still one of them. Don't get soft now, Reyes. We've got orders. No interference in local law." That came from high command. Adam nodded slowly. "Yeah, I know." But inside, his thoughts were storming. After breakfast, Adam returned to his bunk. He opened a locked storage case and took out a small device, a helmet cam, the kind soldiers wore during combat. He connected it to his terminal and played an old recording. The screen lit up. Gunfire, smoke, screams. The date showed it was from 3 months ago. His unit had been ambushed. Buildings were falling. Blood was everywhere. Adam was pinned under rubble, his leg shattered. He remembered the fear, the pain, the helplessness. Then her face. Lyra, stepping through the smoke. She was injured too, limping, bleeding. She looked around, saw him, and ran toward him. On the video, she dragged him out, shielding him from blasts, lifting him with all her strength. Not a word spoken. Just action. He paused the video and stared at the screen. She didn't care what side I was on, he whispered. She just saw someone who needed help. Now no one was helping her. Later that afternoon, Adam went to the command office. He stood at attention as Colonel Vance, the base commander, looked up. "Corporal Reyes, what is it?" Adam took a breath. "Sir, I want to request permission to speak on behalf of the Valari prisoner." The colonel raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" "She saved my life during the war. I believe she's innocent." "Colonel." Vance sighed. "This is a political mess, Reyes. The Valari want to deal with her their way. We can't step in every time something feels unfair." "But this isn't just a feeling, sir. I have video proof." Adam handed over the helmet cam. The colonel watched silently. When the video ended, he looked up, impressive. "Brave girl." "But it won't change anything." Adam's heart sank. "Why not?" "Because they don't care, son. They don't care what she did for us. She broke their rules, showed mercy in battle. That's death to them. So we just let them kill her. We don't have the right to stop it." Adam clenched his fists. He wanted to scream, to argue, but he didn't. He saluted and walked out. Night fell again over VELAR-9. Inside the prison tower, Lyra sat in silence. Her hands were still bruised from the chains. She hadn't eaten. No one spoke to her. No one visited except Adam. He appeared again, standing outside her cell, his eyes tired. "You look worse," he said. She gave a small smile. "That makes two of us." They stood in silence for a moment. Then she asked, "Why are you here?" Adam looked around, then stepped closer to the bars. "I tried to stop this. I really did. No one's listening." "I didn't expect them to," Lyra said. "Valari justice isn't about truth, it's about honor. And I broke their idea of it." Adam shook his head. "You saved lives, that should count." "Not to them," he sighed. "There's still time. I can try again. Maybe there's someone else I can talk to." Lyra looked up at him. "Don't waste it. You've done enough." Adam didn't like that answer. "You didn't give up on me. Don't ask me to give up on you." Her eyes softened. "You're a strange human." He smiled. "I've been called worse." As Adam walked back through the city streets, his thoughts raced. He had one last idea, but it was dangerous. If Command wouldn't act, maybe it was time to break the rules. He opened his communicator and called a name he hadn't used in months. "Captain Amani? I need a favor. Off the books." Elsewhere, in the high tower above the arena, the Valari High Council met in secret. They reviewed the judgment for the morning. The elder warriors spoke in deep tones. "If we spare her, we look weak. But if we kill her, the humans may see us as cruel. Then let them. We must remind them who we are." The judgment stood at dawn. Lyra would die and no one, not even a human, could stop it. The sky was still dark when the crowd began to gather. The arena glowed under tall lights. Valari guards lined the walls, their weapons shining. A heavy silence hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. In the center of the arena, the execution platform had been prepared. A smooth black stone, cold and final. Beside it, the execution blade, long, curved, and deadly. Lyra stood at the edge of the platform, her hands still chained. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired. She didn't resist. She didn't speak. This was how her people chose to remember her, not as a warrior, not as a protector, but as a traitor. Up in the stands, thousands of Valari had come to watch. They wore armor, cloaks, medals. Families with children sat beside old warriors. They had come not for justice, but for a lesson. Mercy, they believed, had no place in war. Far above, in a hidden corner of the arena, Corporal Adam Reyes stood. Alone. His fists were tight at his sides. His heart beat like a drum. He had not slept. His request to stop the execution had been denied again and again. But now, there was no time left. He looked down at Lyra, standing on the stone. Then at the counselor who stepped forward to speak. "Lyra of House Corvell, you are found guilty of treason, cowardice, and dishonor. Your sentence is death by blade, as tradition demands." The crowd said nothing. No cheers, no pity. Just silence. The counselor raised his hand. "Let this be a message. Mercy is weakness. Weakness brings death." The executioner stepped forward. Lyra closed her eyes. And then Adam jumped over the wall. The crowd gasped. Guards shouted. He landed hard on the stone ground and walked toward the platform, slowly but without fear. His human uniform made him stand out like fire in a snowstorm. A Valari guard raised his weapon. "Stop right there." Adam didn't stop. He climbed the platform. He stood between Lyra and the blade. "No," he said. "This ends here." The crowd burst into chaos. Cries of anger, confusion, shock. The counselor stepped forward, furious. "You dare interfere with Valari law?" Adam faced him. "Yes, I do." "You have no authority here." Adam raised a small device, the helmet cam. He pressed a button. A blue light blinked. The arena. Screens lit up. The recording played. The crowd watched. Smoke, gunfire, and then Lyra, saving Adam, pulling him from the rubble, carrying a human child out of fire. The truth was now visible to all. She saved lives, Adam shouted. She didn't betray anyone. She showed real courage more than half the soldiers I fought beside. The counselor's voice was sharp. Courage is not the same as honor. She broke the rules. Then maybe your rules are broken, Adam said. The crowd murmured. Some Valari looked at each other, uncertain. Others stood stiff, anger on their faces. Lyra finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but clear. I followed my heart. I saved those. I could. If that's treason, then I accept it. She stepped forward, beside Adam, but I will not be ashamed. For a moment, the arena went quiet. Then from the crowd, a voice rose. She did what we were taught as children. Protect the helpless. Another voice joined. She did not run. She fought alone. And then a third voice. Perhaps she has more honor than any of us. The counselor turned, face twisted with anger. Silence. This is not a debate. But it was too late. The people had heard the truth. And truth is a weapon that cannot be unseen. Adam looked at the counselor. If you want to punish someone, punish me. I stand with her. Guards stepped forward. But then, a Valari Elder General Vark, a respected war hero, raised his hand. Enough, he said. His voice was like stone. Everyone froze. The general walked forward, slowly. His armor was old and scarred. His eyes were sharp. He looked at Lyra, then at Adam. I was there in Sector 9, he said. I saw the bodies. Not all of them were soldiers. We told ourselves it was necessary, that we had no choice, but we did. He turned to the counselor. She showed mercy, yes, but mercy is not always weakness. Sometimes it is strength, the counselor hissed. You would let her go? After all this? I would let her live. That is not the same as forgetting. The counselor's eyes burned with rage, but he said nothing more. The judgment was lifted. Adam exhaled, shoulders dropping. The chains were removed from Lyra's wrists. She rubbed her bruised hands, then looked at him. You didn't have to do that, Adam smiled. You didn't have to save me, but you did. Lyra gave a small nod. Her eyes were glassy, but she didn't cry. She had cried enough in silence. So what now? She asked. Adam looked up at the emptying arena. Now, we walk away, alive. Far above, in the human base, Colonel Vance watched the recording again. Shook his head with a tired smile. That boy's career is over, he said, but a soft voice beside him replied, or just beginning. Truth in the shadows. The arena was empty now. Dust settled over the black stone where Lyra had once stood, waiting for death. The people had gone, the voices faded, but the memory stayed behind. Lyra walked beside Adam as they left the gates, her steps slow, uncertain. The sky above Velar had changed. It was brighter now, but also watching, waiting. I can't believe they let me go, she said softly. Adam gave a small smile. It wasn't easy, but the truth has power. And sometimes people actually listen. Lyra stopped. But the council won't forget. They'll still see me as weak, as broken. Adam looked at her. Then we give them something else to see. Back at the human base, tension filled the halls. Colonel Vance stood at the window of his office, arms crossed behind his back. A message played on the screen beside him. The words were sharp. Corporal Adam Reyes is to be suspended immediately for disobedience and diplomatic violation. Await further judgment. The colonel sighed and turned as Adam entered the room. You've made quite a name for yourself, Reyes. Adam stood straight. I did what I thought was right, sir. And I don't disagree. But right and allowed are two different things in this job. Adam nodded, understood. The colonel studied him. You're lucky. That video saved you more than it hurt you. People are talking high up. Some think you're a hero. And others think I'm a problem. Exactly. Vance lowered his voice. There's something else you should know. Someone tried to delete the video from the main database this morning. Your original file. Adam's eyes narrowed. What? Someone doesn't want the truth out. Adam thought for a moment. Then he spoke. We always assumed Lyra was being punished by her own people. But what if someone on our side helped push that judgment? The colonel didn't answer, but his silence said enough. That evening, Adam and Lyra met in the old armory, away from the cameras. She wore a loose gray cloak now, no longer in chains. But she still carried herself like someone expecting to be attacked. Adam handed her a data chip. This is a backup of the footage. Keep it with you. Someone tried to erase it. Lyra frowned. But why? The truth is out. Adam looked around, voice low. Maybe the truth points to something deeper. Like what? Like betrayal. Someone who didn't want peace. Someone who needed this war to keep going. Lyra went quiet. There were rumors, she said. Before the last battle. Messages from unknown sources, telling our leaders to hold positions that didn't make sense. Ambushes we didn't expect. Adam nodded. Same on our side. Orders that felt wrong. Too risky. And then, too many deaths. He took a breath. I think someone fed both sides false intel. Someone wanted chaos. Lyra's voice turned sharp. Who? Adam pulled up a name on his datapad. Commander Rourke. He oversaw the joint operations. Signed off on nearly every major move, and now he's gone. Transferred to a private station 2 days after the peace talks. Lyra's eyes darkened. He made the calls that led to the bombing of the southern refugee camps. Adam nodded. And the ambush where my team got hit. A moment of silence passed. We need proof, she said. Then we find it. Together. The next day, they traveled to an old satellite relay station outside the city ruins. It had been abandoned since the last battle, buried in dust and silence. Adam broke the lock. The doors opened with a low groan. Inside, the air was dry and still. Dust coated every surface. Old consoles blinked to life under his touch. Lyra checked the walls. No movement, no cameras. Adam sat at the terminal. If Rourke used the station to bounce messages off-world, there should be logs. Minutes passed. The screen scrolled through encrypted records, then a file opened. Voice messages, coordinates, hidden orders. 1. Caught their attention. Proceed with false intelligence. Ensure both forces engage. Civilian risk acceptable. Operation Titan requires maximum unrest. Lyra's face went pale. He did this on purpose. He started the war again. So he could control the peace. Adam copied the file. This changes everything. A sound behind them, a click, they turned. 3 figures stood at the entrance. Black armor, no emblems. No names. Guns raised. Step away from the console, when said. Adam pulled Lyra behind him. You're with Rourke? The soldier didn't answer. Lyra's eyes narrowed. They're not here to talk. Adam reached for his sidearm. Too slow. A shot rang out. Not from the enemy. From behind them, Colonel Vance. He stood at the rear exit, blaster in hand. One of the black-armored soldiers dropped. Move, now! He shouted. Adam and Lyra ran. Shots filled the air. Sparks flew from the walls. The relay station shook with energy and heat. They escaped through a back tunnel, breathing hard, hands covered in dust. Outside, the sun was rising again. A new day. Colonel Vance looked at them. You were right, he said. I traced the file request. It leads straight to Rourke's network. You have your proof. What now? Lyra asked. Adam answered. Now we bring it to the council. To the people. To everyone. They'll try to stop you, Vance warned. Adam nodded. Let them try. In the sky above, a small drone flew toward the capital. Its message was short, but powerful. Rourke started the war. We can prove it. You need to see this. The truth was coming. And this time, no one could stop it. The final truth: the city of Velanine was restless. Death news had spread fast. A message was leaked across both human and Velari channels. A voice recording. Secret orders. Hidden lies for the first time in many months. The war did not feel like the biggest threat. It was the truth. And it was burning through the system like fire in dry grass. Adam, Lyra, and Colonel Vance stood outside the council hall, a tall, black building with golden lines glowing across its surface. Velari guards blocked the gate, but they didn't raise their weapons. They had seen the footage too. Adam looked at Lyra. Ready? She gave a small nod. We finish this. Inside, the council chamber was full. Human and Velari leaders sat on high seats. Officials, reporters, and soldiers filled every row. The air was tight, like it would break at any second. The High Counselor of Velanine stood at the center. You were warned not to return, he said coldly. Colonel Vance stepped forward. We bring evidence. Of betrayal on both sides. Adam held up a small chip. The screen behind them lit up. Messages played. Rourke's voice. His orders. His plans. The room fell silent. Then shouting. Accusations. Some leaders stood. Others sat frozen in shock. Words like traitor, conspiracy, and war crimes filled the hall. Lyra stepped forward. You called me a traitor, she said. Her voice was calm. But the real traitor was never on the battlefield. He was behind the curtain, pulling strings. She pointed to the screen. He wanted fear. He used it to control us. A Velari war general stood, and we followed blindly. Another human officer nodded. We didn't question, we just obeyed. The High Counselor banged his staff on the floor. This is not a trial. This is an attack on our command. Colonel Vance raised his voice. No, Counselor, this is a rescue. Of the truth, of peace. You can either hide behind lies or lead with honor. A long silence followed. Then, to everyone's surprise, the doors opened and Commander Rourke himself walked in. He wore a perfect white uniform, not a wrinkle in sight. His face was calm, almost amused. Interesting show, he said. But it won't matter. He looked at the council, both human and Velari. You need war. You always have. Without it, people grow soft. Weak. They forget who they are. Adam stepped in front of him. You lied. You killed civilians. You betrayed both sides. Rourke smiled. I built strength. Lyra's voice cut the air like a knife. You built graves. Rourke turned to her. And yet you survived. Maybe I gave you purpose. Before anyone could react, Rourke pulled a small device from his belt. A silent click. Security system shut down. Lights flickered. A shield locked the doors. Then, from hidden panels in the floor, drones rose. Armed, dangerous. Gasps filled the chamber. Adam pulled Lyra behind him. Rourke laughed. You were never in control. But then, a beep came from Adam's wrist. He tapped it twice. From the ceiling vents, neutralizer mist sprayed down an emergency override. The drones dropped, lifeless. Vance grinned. We saw that trick coming. Rourke turned, trying to escape, but a Velari warrior tackled him down. The crowd swarmed. The traitor was caught. Hours later, the council declared the war officially over. Rourke was charged with war crimes and sent to an interplanetary prison. His plans were exposed. His lies broken. But not everything healed overnight. Rebuilding peace would take time. Adam and Lyra sat on a hill outside the city, watching the sun set. A soft orange light covered the buildings, and the sky was clear. I never thought I'd live to see this day, Lyra said. Adam smiled. Me neither. They say I might be allowed back into my clan, not fully, but maybe as an advisor. That's a start, she looked at him. What about you? Adam shrugged. I don't know. I'm not sure I belong in the army anymore. Maybe that's a good thing. They laughed gently. A small wind blew across the grass. You know, Lyra said, I used to believe war was the only way to prove myself. But now, I think saving lives is harder and braver. Adam nodded. It's not easy, but it matters. She looked at him. You saved me, he replied. You saved me first. Later that week, a statue was built near the arena. Not of a king, not of a warlord, but of Lyra, standing tall, hand outstretched, not with a weapon, but with an open palm of peace. Below the statue, a plaque read, "Honor is not obedience. Honor is the courage to do what is right, especially when no one else will." And somewhere, across the stars, people began to believe that maybe, just maybe, peace was possible. The end.